everyone doing today? It is Monday, September 23rd, and it is fall. We are officially in fall. And as you know, I live in Arizona. We don't really have fall here. Well, at least not where I live. But the temperatures are coming down. I'm sure that there are signs of fall where you are. So I hope that maybe that's getting you guys excited for the season. And, you know, the spooky season is also right around the corner. I did a little spooky shopping this weekend. I got a little Halloween glitter nail polish. So I'm getting ready for both the spooky season and fall. And I'm also ready for the temperatures to come down where I am. Oh gosh, how is everyone doing? We like to start our week right here on Designing with Deb. This is my weekly show. It's at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, and right here at artbeads.com/live. Good morning, Kat. Thanks for being here. I hope everybody had a great weekend. This weekend was a fun one for me, so, but I'm also really excited to get going this week. I've got a lot of fun things planned, including this show. I mean, I like to start the week off right, hanging out with all these serious art beaters. Hello, Leah. Hello, Tina. Hello, Sarah. Thank you guys for being here. So, I thought maybe today we would talk about a few things. I'm going to do a little short plug for something. So, if you're watching on September 23rd, there is a sale going on through the end of today. And that sale is called the Fall Cozy Sale. Hence the reason I brought up fall. And it is 15 to 20% off of yarn and cord. And guess what else is included? The I-cord knitter. If you guys have not seen this little tool, it's a doozy, and I'll just briefly show that because we're not going to make a project, but I was so excited to finally play with this fun tool, and it is included in the sale, as well as beads and other things that you can use with it. So take advantage of that sale while it's going on. It's through the end of today. So yeah, who else is here? I'm seeing other hellos. Cindy says hello to all. Nancy says good morning, Deb. Hi, Nancy. Santa Barbara girl, hello. Michelle, I'm so glad to see you here, my friend. Susanna, good morning, everyone. Kim Caldwell, good morning, Deb. Hello, everyone. Ann Winters, good morning. Marilyn, good morning. Tina, love your necklace. We're going to talk about that necklace. Helen, good morning. Pauline says, hello, Deb, Art Bead team, and everyone. Ann B says, good morning. Hey, thanks you guys for being here. So we love to have you here. And if you're watching live at artbeads.com/live, I can see your comments. So say hello, ask questions. Michelle is here with me, so she can answer questions as well. I see Anne is here. Yes, Damiana's work is amazing. We're going to talk about Damiana. Susan, hello from Dallas. Susie in South Florida. So if you're watching, you see, I can see your comments. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube while the show is live, come over here and join us over here. You can also click on the heart. That will send some hearts up the screen. All of the Art Beads designers love to see the hearts. You can share the hearts when you see something you love, or, you know, something silly happens, whatever. But you can hit that button or that heart icon as many times as you'd like and as often as you'd like anytime during the show. You can also share the show. So if you click on the arrow, you can share it to a group or share it to your own page if you're allowed to do that in a group. Send it to a friend that maybe might be interested in what we're doing today. So feel free to share out all the things, and you can shop the show. So I loaded up the show with some fun things. So I've got the I-cord knitter in there. We're going to talk just briefly about that. And then we're going to talk about Damyanah Studio. And so I wanna make sure you guys know, if you go over to the shopping bag, you can see everything that's in the show. There'll be shopping links that come up throughout the course of the show. But if you want to just go over and see everything and start loading it into your shopping cart, you can do that now. Or anytime during the show. And I don't go away while you do that, so you don't even have to leave the show to shop. So please shop away. YouTube, and you want to stay over there, I appreciate that you're watching. We all appreciate that you're watching. So please hang with us. And feel free to share comments, but I just won't be able to see them live. So let's see, I'm missing some other comments. Susie in South Florida, good morning. Helen says, I love my knitter. That's great to know, Helen. Kristen in Illinois, good morning, everyone. Nancy says, we love having you here. Oh, and thank you. And Ann Winters, tell me what the deal is with the llama. Well, I'm going to flip my camera around and you'll see llama. So I always have my little llama friend here with me. Let me get my camera just right for us. So here's the llama. I can't tell you yet what the deal is with the llama, but I can tell you we are busting at the seams, ready to tell you about it. We had a conversation last week, share this with you, but it's a little bit longer that you're going to have to wait to get the full story about the llama. And all I can tell you is I love watching llama videos now. So I watch a lot of llama videos and I'm really hooked on llamas. So Ann Winters, you'll have to wait a little bit longer. Santa Barbara Girl says, tell your mama they got a llama. There are so many llama jokes. We're going to use them all too. So that's all I can tell you for now, which is nothing. I'm sorry, but it's coming. I can tell you it's coming. So we talked about the I-cord knitter briefly, and we're going to talk just a little bit more about it, just briefly, because the show is not about it today, but I thought I would show it to you briefly because we've done a lot of promotion of this tool. We did a lot of promotion at Bead Fest. This tool is made by Tulip. This is what it looks like. You get these 3 pieces, a crochet hook, a weight, and the actual unit itself. Good morning, Joan. And this is so cool. It's getting a lot of glare. I'm going to shut off this one light, so it's going to be a little dark, but you can see all of these little needles when you turn the tool. They're grabbing yarn or other material that you can use in this tool. And I finally bit the bullet and got one. And so I pulled out some yarn this weekend and just kind of played around. And these are my first attempts, so they're not great. But look at this cool cording that you can get or you can make. It's so fun. This can be incorporated into mixed media projects. Hi, Laura. Good morning. Hi, Tina. Looks like a coffee grinder. Yes, 2-in-1. Yes. So if you want to create I-cord and have coffee at the same time, there you go. I wouldn't recommend putting coffee in there. This is my favorite, though. This is so much fun. This is some variegated yarn. Had some interesting little, I don't even know what you call it, little places on the yarn where it was raised. I'm not a yarn person, so I don't know all the lingo, but look at this fun piece that you can create. It can be like a friendship bracelet, or it can be incorporated into a necklace. I didn't finish it. You can finish the piece with a tapestry needle. Needles are also on sale as part of the Cozy Fall sale. So I just wanted to give, a plug to this tool because it is on sale. And if you want to try something that's fun and relaxing and create some cool texture, I think this is a great thing to add to your jewelry making arsenal. And Anne's asking, is that kind of like what Nile does? Not really. So Nile's got some fancy machinery, like big machinery and equipment that creates his knitted wire. This is for, crafters and people that, at home that can make something. A lot of folks use this as a finishing to, like a blanket or something else if they're into sort of knitting and crocheting, that kind of thing. But jewelry, you can add this to like a mixed media piece or make a bracelet. And there's lots of great information on artbeads.com about the use of the tool. So today I'm not going to use it, but I just wanted to plug it because it is on sale. And I thought you guys want to try it out maybe. Leah, can you make thinner cord with it? So the videos that are out there have more information about what you can use. I would suggest going back to the videos from Bead Fest, and you can see and hear about how it can be used and with what. Santa Barbara Girl says you could coil the coil and use it as background to a focal piece. Absolutely. And Susan says, would it work with leather cord? I do not believe it does. And Ann Winters, in Bead Fest, we used actually alpaca wool with it because we really, really loved hanging out with some of the people at Bead Fest that sold that. So lots of great ideas there, but we're going to shift gears. So I'm going to set my necklace up here for a second. I'm going to be showcasing today Damyanah Studio. So artbeads.com has a lot of artisan beads, and one of the things that I think is great about Art Beads is that we like to promote some of the amazing artisans out there that share their beautiful work with us. So Damiana is an amazing ceramics artist. She lives in Bulgaria. This is her and I. This is a terrible printout of the picture. My printer is running out of ink. But this is Damiana and I think in 2018 or 2019. She is the daughter of Vlad from Golem Studio. So Golem Studio is also a brand that is carried by Art Beads. And this is the three of us, I think in maybe 2019, 2020. I'm not sure. But I just printed off these to show you. These people are people I love. They are incredible artists and they are incredibly kind and wonderful people. So I'm just crazy about her work. I have a little bit of a stash. So I want to show you, first of all, this piece is available at artbeads.com, but this piece here is not. And I just wanted to quickly show you that I've got a bit of a love of Damiana's work. This is just her pendants. I do have a bit of a hoard of her beads as well, but I want to show you the different shapes that she works with. She's got even a few other shapes that she does. And when I was preparing for the show, what I thought I would do for you is load all of her pendants into the show. So there's some that are very, very limited, some that have 1 or 2 or 3. And I'm just thinking maybe you want to pick those up while we still have them. And I also heard that Damiana might have some new pieces coming out. So maybe if we can get some of the older pieces out the door, then you can take advantage of some of the newer ones that are coming. This is a piece that I bought from Damiana at her very first U.S. show. And I was fortunate enough to meet her that day of the show starting. And I don't think I was her first customer, but I know I was one of her first customers. And this is the piece I picked up. And this is something that I did with this necklace. So, or with this pendant, I just did a simple monotone black beaded necklace and added the pendant so that the pendant is the star of the show. I see Becky's here. Hi, her work is beautiful. Yes, it absolutely is. I'm so in love with it. I'm so obsessed. Anne says, are they heavy? No. So they are ceramic, but this is a very lightweight piece. The beads in this necklace are heavier than this pendant. So they are lovely and nice and lightweight. This one's a little bit heavier because it's a little denser, but they are absolutely beautiful. Hi, PJ. So I thought that we could talk about working with these pendants. We could work on a necklace with a pendant. So I'm going to bring in some pretty things. So this is also something that Damiana does, not for sale, but she also makes these beautiful little trays. And I was able to pick one of those up. I think it was this year in Tucson, because she does come out to the Tucson gem shows. So I was able to pick that up from her this time. Let's see, Susan, but so pricey. What would you have to sell a finished piece for to make your money back? Well, pricing is always challenging, but you can certainly price it. You know, I believe that for a one-of-a-kind piece that features artisan beads or pendants, people are going to pay. And, you know, you got to know your audience to know your pricing. So can't exactly tell you how to price it out, but you certainly want to make sure that you cover the cost of the pendant, and the cost is worth it in this case. You get these incredible pieces. So I decided for this particular pendant, so this other one I showed you, this sample, this piece is not for sale, but for this one, I just did all monotone, playing with the background of this particular pendant. But what I want to do today is also kind of mix up some beads. So get some colors that are complementary and actually make the pendant and the beads play nicely together for a really cool piece. So I'm going to show you what I did. I got started because I don't want to put any of you to sleep on a Monday midday for some of you, Monday morning for some of us, and string all of it. But I want to show you what we're going to do today, and one of the ways that I like to finish Damiana's pendants. So this is the one I'm featuring for my piece. I'm seeing a lot of floral fall this year. So floral is definitely in the fall realm, and I felt like these flowers were absolutely spectacular for fall. They've got an orangey red, they've got a nice deep green in the background, and look at those lovely, joyful flowers. So I started to, oh, thank you. Hi, Zakaya. Thanks, Santa Barbara girl. And Beverly, you're not late. We're just getting rolling on what we're doing today. So this pendant caught my heart, caught my attention, and I thought that we could add some really beautiful beads with this and actually make everything kind of play off of each other. Now, quick plug for something else that's in the show. This is Griffin beading wire. Now, as a stringer, I have never used this wire. And Art Beads has a lot of beading wire to work with, lots of different choices, different sizes, different metal tones. I decided to give this 19 strand clear a try, and it's 0.018, which is similar to what I typically like to use from Beadalon. So I'm using this today. I'm trying it out. So far, so good. I kind of like it. So I just thought we'd try something different for this particular necklace. And what I did was incorporated a couple of different round beads, one rondelle bead, and a couple of seed beads. Now, you guys know I love to use seed beads in a necklace. So we're going to do that today and finish this one off. So I'm going to, I was working from the spool, which is why I've got the spool kind of attached here. So I'm going to open this up, and then I'm going to grab my cutters. I'm going to cut this from the package. And if you guys don't do that, like sometimes you have to cut your wire from the packaging to make your design, but if you don't have to, I think it's a good idea to work from the packaging, because then you have a better chance of not, kind of having too much waste. So I'm using one of my bead stoppers to close off this end, and I'll talk you through what I did and then I'll show you. So I always like to start my design with a little bit of a lead in when I've got a fairly large bead up here. And what I did here was I added a few of these amazing treasure seed beads. So I thought that these treasures matched my larger beads perfectly, and they've got a matte texture. These are matte black olive, and they are so incredibly beautiful. That color is so rich and saturated. I thought it played nicely back to the green that we have in the pendant. So it's kind of my objective is to give this a green surrounding. While things might still be a little bit green in the fall, this dark, deep green is really beautiful. I also slipped in some 15s. You guys know I love to do that. And these are actually, these are Toho 15s, and they're inside color crystal gold lined. And they kind of look like just an AB clear bead, but they've got some shades of green and really, really just cool colors that complement everything in this pendant. And they add a little bit of shine. So I thought that that was a nice addition to our little collection of beads we're going to use. And then I've got a couple of different large beads. Believe it or not, I've got 2 different round beads that are actually the same size, but they are different. So these 2 here and this one are different. So, and I alternated. So the ones on either side here that I've got my fingers on, they are check glass 8mm metallic suede dark green rounds. They do have a very suede-y look to them. Unfortunately, my light on my my camera holder is picking up. Let me see if I can turn that off for 1 second. I don't know that that helps any at all. It takes actually the light away, but these are much more matte and suede-ish. I don't know. I'm coming up with new words every show, guys. Stay tuned for new vocabulary. The other beads, oh my goodness, where is the little bag for those guys? Oh, the other ones are Preciosa crystal nacre pearls in rounds. They're 8mm and they're dark green. So they're both a dark green, but have different finishes. So I thought that would be kind of cool. I opted to kind of go all out for the beads for this one to really just show you how you can do different things designing with a pendant like this. Hi, Zakaya. So one last bead that's in here and is absolutely a beauty is this guy. So these are check glass 3x5mm transparent crystals, and they have, I believe, a luster finish on them. And look at those like shiny facets. So these are a little bit smaller. So they're kind of acting as our smaller bead, creating some dimension. And this is just a beautiful combination of beads. So we're going to finish our other side, and I'm going to show you how I attach to a pendant of Damiana's like this. So you see there's holes on either side. I'm creating a seed beaded loop to attach. You could also do a lot of different things. And if you happen to have a pendant that she does with the metal loops, there's also ways to do that as well, which we can talk about a little bit. So let's finish this one up. And I'm actually going to move things around a little bit so that I can stop making all this table noise. I'm sure that doesn't sound great to you guys. I'm going to grab my beading mat. So this is something that you got to have. I think I put this in the show. So if you don't have one of these yet, you got to pick one up from the show today, drop it in your shopping cart. These are just a necessity. All right, so I've got all my beads up here to work with. I'm going to pull my pendant back over. Now, you're doing 2 separate strands here. So I've got 1 strand of beads off to the side, secured with a bead stopper. And now we're going to start our second piece. And I'm going to work from the spool. And I'm just going to set the spool off to the side and pull some of it out. The little plastic piece is off. You want that off so that your cording can move nicely with you. And I'm going to start with those lead-in seed beads. So I've got 6 of them to start with. And I always like to do this at the end or the back of a necklace because I think it just helps give you some freedom to move with the closure. And it has a little bit of a flat spot, towards the back of your necklace. So I've got 6 of those beautiful treasure seed beads. These are absolutely spectacular beads. I'm crazy about them. I'm crazy in love with them. And then I'm going to do 1 lonely little 15-0. So I'm going to grab that 15, drop that on. And you see the interesting, combination here. We've got some nice matte dark green and a really beautiful, almost see-through, transparent bead with a little finish. Now, I thought what might be interesting is I've got a pattern here. I've got those 2 different 8mm beads, and I did them in a specific order. I'm going to do the opposite order this time, just for fun. Why not? So that will make the necklace a little bit interesting. So in the previous one, I started with the more matte version of this bead. So this time I'm going to start with the shinier one. And then in between, I'm going to add a 15, and then I'm going to add an 11 and another 15. And then I'm going to take one of these beautiful smaller beads, drop that on. I'm going to show you the pattern in just a second. And it's just a simple stringing pattern, but we've got so many textures, so many fun, beautiful complementary beads. I'm crazy about this combination of things with this pendant especially. So here's our little pattern. We start with the 6 treasures, a 15, and then we've got our preciosa. Then we've got a 15, a treasure, a 15, the little rondelle, 15, treasure, 15, and then we've got the more matte or the sueded 8mm bead. So I love how this looks, so beautiful. And I see you guys talking about the daffodils. I'm crazy over daffodils. So any kind of flower, really, I'm just crazy about. So I'm going to just string this up, guys. Damiana's work is she hand paints all of these. So there's no trickery of, anything that she's got on these. She's hand painting them herself. She does all the work to create these beautiful pieces. And if you follow her on social media, she also often shows her behind the scenes process, which I'm fascinated with. Like, it's so interesting to see all of the pieces and parts together, waiting to be painted, and then the step of painting and glazing, all of the work that she does. It's true artisan, beautiful work. And she's got such a wide variety of designs. So if you go into the shopping bag, you'll see she's got a ton of different options for designing. She does a line of faces, which are really cool. And for those of you who love faces, there's a couple of things in the shopping cart or shopping bag for you guys. And there's also lots of floral. She's got like a little townscape, like a cityscape kind of thing. and florals, fruit, just some really, really beautiful. And Santa Barbara Girl says, ooh, I love these sunflowers too. Yes, please. And there's also, guys, a couple of very fall, designs. And those are very limited. So if you want something for fall that's truly a fall, design or pattern, you'll want to pick that up. You won't want to wait on those, because as people start getting into the fall making groove, they're going to go. So pick those up. They're just absolutely beautiful little works of art. And every single one is going to be a little bit different because it is hand painted. So each one of her works is a unique little painting. And that's what I love. And I think she brings a little bit of a unique style. I mean, there's so many ceramic artists out there, and all of them do beautiful work. But they all have their own style, and Damiana's style is just so lovely. And you'll also see her post if you follow her on social media. I believe she's also got a Facebook group that you can join. You can see her studio, which is absolutely inspiring. Where she lives in Bulgaria is just so beautiful and inspiring. So you'll occasionally get to see some fun things from her. So I'm just trying to do these things justice. And that's why I have a little bit of that collection that I shared with you, because I always feel like with artisans like this, I can't do them justice 100%. Or I worry that I can't. So sometimes I just want to sit and stare at them. And I think some of you jewelry makers probably understand that. It's this concept of, just wanting to treasure them and hold on to them. But you can decide how you want to use your pieces. You can put them in your studio and stare at them, or you can use them. And we're going to use this one today, because this one is really, really beautiful. And I'm crazy over the flowers. Just crazy. I like her style too, Santa Barbara Girl. It's just, and she is just such a sweet person. She's so passionate about her work. I was so enamored of her, and I've known her father for a while as well, having met him in Tucson years and years ago. And, they're just lovely people, just really lovely people. And that makes me love their work even more. There's just something about that when folks are kind and joyful people, it's infectious. So we've got, let's see, I need to count how many beads I've got on my previous strand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 11 of the 8 millimeters. So let's put that back up here or down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're almost to our 8 millimeter count. And we just need to then add our little loop at the end once we've got that all together. So I'm loving this texture. I'm loving the shine. We've got a little bit of everything in this necklace. And we're going to showcase that gorgeous pendant. And, speaking of trying to sell, a piece like this, if you really want something that no one else is going to be selling, you can grab a pendant and put whatever beads you want with it. And it's going to be a one-of-a-kind necklace, or, if you use her beads, it will be a one-of-a-kind piece. And I'll tell you, I did throw in a few beads, too, into the shopping bag, because some of the beads match up to the pendants. She always seems to do like a line with a pattern, and she'll do a pendant, and then she'll do maybe a different style of pendant, and then she'll do some beads that match. So that's really fun. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One more pattern. So if you want to check out her beads, I didn't put all her beads in the show. Michelle would have had my head if I put that much stuff in the show today. But you can go and shop her on the artbeads.com site and see all of the other beads and everything else. She's got some round pendants as well that are smaller. So that's something that you can check out. So let's do one final count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got to just add our 8O bead or our 8mm bead up here. And it is going to end with a shiny one. And oh gosh, I love this. Okay, so we've now got 11 of the larger beads. Now you can adjust the number of beads that you want, obviously, based on the length that you want. I kind of wanted the necklace to be a similar length to the one that I showed in the beginning. It's kind of I think it's like an 18 to 20 inch necklace because I want that pendant to be front and center for the person that's wearing it. So I've got one last rondelle on here. So after my little seed bead section, and what I do thereafter is instead of doing 3 seed beads, I'm going to take 115 and one of the treasures, and that will be the spot where we're going to add a crimp tube. So this is what the end looks like. Right up close there, you've got your rondelle, a little 15, and a treasure. And I'm going to put a crimp tube on now because we want to attach this and crimp it in this location by the pendant. And then we would go back up the necklace and finish up at the other side. So I'm going to put on my crimp tube, and this is a size 2 crimp tube. And then I'm going to move stuff out of the way. So I'm going to move everything that I don't need, everything I'm done with. And I'm so glad I have more of these beads because I'm in love with them. So maybe I'll make a matching bracelet or something. All I need now are the 15s. Now, 11 O's don't fit through the hole of the pendant, but they could fit on either side. And I'll really quickly show you what I mean by that. So if I was going to still want to use a loop of seed beads, I could put my wire through and I could string from either side. So I could put some seed beads here and put some seed beads on the other side. You could even put a spacer bead. And I can't believe the Daisy Spacer Queen does not have a daisy spacer handy to show you that idea. Oh my gosh. Well, you could also place a daisy spacer on either side and then the seed beads and create your loop. And that would be a way that you could use larger seed beads. So just for a little bit of an idea, that's what you can do if you don't want to use 15s. I know some of you are scared of 15s. They are a little bit scary because they are little. So I used on this loop, I wanted to make sure my loop was big enough that it would move. So it's going to go through this hole and I want it to be able to move around. You don't want this to be tight. That will choke the beads. That will maybe give you the possibility of cracking the beads and the pendant. So just a little, tip there. Make sure that your loop is big enough. So this is 25 size 15 seed beads in this little loop here. So let's string those on. This is going to be hard to see because they are so tiny. but we're just going to put them on to the stringing wire. Oops, maybe 3, 4, 5, come on there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost 9, come on, number 9, 10, 11, that one jumped off, 12, and 13, and I want my beads to be equal, so that's why I'm making sure that they are right. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. And this goes faster when I'm not trying to see into the camera. So there's my loop, or soon to be loop. There's all of my seed beads on the wire. And these are so nice and shiny and have such a lovely finish on them. So this is going to make a really beautiful loop. Now I've got quite a bit of excess here, so I'm actually going to pull the other end of my wire. And I think what I want to do to make sure I don't lose everything is I'm going to grab a bead stopper. Then what I'm going to do at the other end, I'm not going to cut yet, but I'm going to wind this up so that I'm not fiddling with all of the extra wire. So I'm just going to put this on like so. And now I've got just enough wire to work with so that I'm not causing myself a problem. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull that little seed bead section through that hole. So you're going to push your wire through the hole. Now, might have to wiggle this a little bit. This side, the beads are going through nicely. Now, you want these to be a fairly tight loop, but you don't want this to be so tight that the beads are strained together. So I'm just going to be very, very careful in how I do this. Now, the other thing about this is we're going to crimp, and we're crimping close to seed beads. So I'm going to show you how I do this to help prevent cracking beads. But you'll have to just make sure that you practice this a little bit. Whenever you're using a crimp up close to seed beads, you just run that risk of cracking. So just I'll show you my way. Maybe this will work for you. So I'm actually going to move my seed beads out of the way because those will go flying. And I'm going to grab my crimping pliers, get those ready to go. And I'm going to take the end of my beading wire and I'm going to go down through my crimp tube and just through, actually, I'm going to go down through just the crimp tube. Oops, hang on. Go right through that crimp tube. And then I'm going to grab the end and I'm going to pull this tight, or sort of tight. And I just want to make sure that I know I counted, but I want to make sure that that loop is where, giving me enough space, moving around the way I want it to, and it does. So this is tricky because, again, you don't want to crack your beads. So you want to make sure when you crimp that your wire is not crossed. So I'm making sure of that. And let me just get a good hold of this and then I'll show it up closer. I'm going to pull my crimp tube away a little bit, away from those seed beads. They're all still where I want them to be. And then I'm going to take that crimp tube and I'm going to grab a hold of it, maybe, lightly with the back jaw of that crimping plier. And then, if I can show you, I'm going to pull it up. So I am now attached to my crimp tube and I'm not touching those beads. So I'll show you that one more time. I have a hold of the crimp tube right there. And then I'm going to pull that guy up and taut next to the beads. And then I'm going to crimp. So I've got my little loop there. It's in the right spot. And then I'm going to, I got to get this just right here. So I got to get my crimping pliers in there and do the second part of the crimp. So I've got a nice crimp. Now, if you want to, you can cover this crimp. You can use a crimp cover if you like that. I'm not going to. I like that there's going to be a little bit of a silver accent here. And then, guys, I'm going to cut my excess wire. Now, always make sure you don't cut the wrong wire. So I'm going to hold on to the right one and make sure that the other one is off to the side so I can get it cut. And then I'm going to push down my beads. And if you have a little bit of a piece of wire that's there, you can push that last bead into it. So now I've got my pretty little beaded loop and my strand of beads, and it now matches the other side. And let me just pull that up so you can see what it looks like. So you've got these pretty little shiny little loops to hold this pendant in place. So I love how this looks. Sorry, hitting the camera there. Thank you, Carol. That's so nice. Thank you so much. So now I'm going to pull off, I'm going to cut from the package. So I've been working from the package this whole time. I'm going to pull a little bit of wire and snip off. And I think Sarah Lovecraft also showed this tool last week. These are the Beadalon cutters, the professional designer series cutters. These are amazing. I just, wow, I love them. So I thought I would use those today because I love them so much. I'm going to put another bead stopper on. So now I've got both ends of my necklace ready to go. And we're going to put a pretty little clasp on this one that's very full. So let me pull this back in. And I wanted to show you guys, if you were so inclined and wanted to add a little bit of chain to your design, you could most certainly add some chain if you wanted to perhaps wire wrap a little bit of your, a few of your beads and then include some chain. Or if you need an extender for your necklace, you could grab some chain and add a nice little extender at the back. Well, think about doing that. I might do that. But I've got a toggle, so I think I won't do that. But if you're using a lobster claw, that's a great finishing for this. So kind of going with the floral theme, I've got a beautiful sort of leaf toggle, and we're going to attach these with a crimp tube and some French wire. I know Michelle always loves the French wire. So French wire is tiny coiled wire. It's typically used for knotting silk. So if you're doing silk knotting, like of the pearls, that is a great way to finish off your piece. So sorry, I had to actually see where I was cutting on that. So I'm just cutting off a little bit of the French wire, like maybe a little over an inch there. And what I want to do is I want to cut that in half then. So I grab it, I hold it in half there, and then I'm going to snip it with my cutters. So I've got two fairly equal sized pieces, and then I need another couple of crimp tubes. So I'm going to grab my size 2s again, and put those out here. And then I always like to start with the toggle bar. I don't know why. And you may be picky about, which side you want your toggle bar on. You may be picky about, how you want to put them on, but I'm not picky about which side. And I also, am not picky about, well, I am picky, I guess, about what side I start with. So this is the hardest part to show, and actually the hardest part to do in this process. Let me see if I can get that in. Yes, so I've got my French wire loaded onto my beading wire, and it just adds, for me, it just adds a little bit of a nice finishing touch. So I've got my crimp tube, I've got that little piece of French wire on, and then moving these guys out of the way, I'm going to put that through through the loop on the toggle bar. And then what I want to do is kind of hold those back, and I want to take my wire and put that through the crimp tube, and then I'm just going to go through all of the seed beads. And then I'm going to pull that, and then I want to pull the toggle bar and the necklace kind of at the same time, so that I'm getting all the slack out of my necklace, but I'm also making sure that this is not in a straight line. So got the little toggle in there. It's got enough room to move around. We want that when we're using these little French wire loops. I think that looks really nice and finished. And then I'm going to crimp that, and I'm very close to seed beads again. So I'm just being careful not to crack that seed bead. It's a little easier in this, in this configuration because you can see them a little bit better. So there's our crimp. That one actually looks pretty nice. And then I'm going to snip off my excess wire. And now I've got one side of the necklace ready to go. And then I pull this over the other side and kind of keeping that coiled. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use the other side of the toggle. And this little piece of French wire has a little bit of a kink in it, which is okay. So putting that on. So I've got my crimp tube and my French wire. I'm also using size 2 crimp tubes up here, if I didn't say that already. I use them down at the bottom as well. And then with this particular toggle end, look at this. It's so beautiful. This is, you know what? I didn't tell you about this. This is a JBB antique silver plated heart-shaped leaf. So I love hearts. We all love hearts. Hit the heart button if you, or hit the heart icon if you like hearts. I love JBB. I featured some JBB pieces in a show a couple of weeks back. Zakaya says, you like a wire protector, Deb? I sometimes use a wire guardian, but very rarely. So, and I know a lot of you like wire guardians, but it's just not what I typically do, but once in a while, depending on the project. So I'm going to pull that down, and I'm also going to give a tug in both directions. So I'm holding on to my toggle and holding on to the wire here and kind of tugging. So it's giving this piece the right tautness, but not too much because this is not in a straight line. And now I'm going to come in and crimp this side here, making sure I don't grab a seed bead because that can happen. And getting my crimp together there. Give it one last little squeeze. We've got our other crimp on, and then I'm going to cut off my excess. I actually, in this case, just went through the crimp tube. So you can do that as well. And a nice secure, I'm pulling pretty hard on that. So we've got a nice secure closure here. So this is our finished necklace. But before I go, I want to just show you one other thought for working with Damyanah's pendants. So here's the other one that's available. And if you haven't looked at this one, I would strongly suggest. Also very fall. These are pomegranates. They're gorgeous. They have greens, so you could pull those green beads that are in the show into this one as well. Ooh, I just pulled them right into it, didn't I? So these look really beautiful together. If you happen to get the one with the loops up top, and I believe the picture shows them that way, so I'm not 100% certain if they come with the loops or not. But if they do, you can also do this, and I'll show you what I was thinking for this. Let me move that beauty out of the way. You can take your stringing wire. You can string through one loop over here, like so. And then you can start putting on some seed beads. And you could go like to a size 8, probably in this spot. But you have to be careful. You can't use too large a bead. And I just want to give you just a little bit of a taste of what this might look like. So let me just get a few more on. These treasure beads are gorgeous. They also look nice for this pendant. So you could string it onto your stringing wire and then add a row of seed beads here. So your necklace would have a little bit of an accent above this beautiful pendant, maybe adds another layer of framing around the pendant. You could use some super sparkly ones or some metallic if you wanted to add gold to this. Gold would look really beautiful. In fact, I think I have behind me some gold. Let me open up. These are 11-0s. So these are not in the show. Sorry, Michelle. Let me show you like what the gold might look like up here. These are Mayuki's 11-0 rounds, and they would add a beautiful accent up top. And you could play with this as an option to your creation. So something like that. So you're adding a little bit of metallic. Maybe you're using your gold accents, spacer beads, seed beads up top, and you can put them all the way through to the other loop on the other side. And that just adds a nice little accent. One other thing that I thought of, and I didn't think of it until the show was already ready to go a couple days ago, is you could also think about putting bails on the ends of these. And that would be kind of interesting. So you could still string on this piece using some metallic bails. You could also wire wrap. So if you wanted to, wire wrap your beads and then come down and create this as a wire wrap with some maybe 22 gauge wire, that's another way that you can connect these beautiful pendants to a necklace. So there's just so many things. I mean, don't let these shapes spook you. I know a lot of times we kind of get into the groove of a more round pendant, and we don't necessarily think about an unusually shaped pendant. These are like a trapezoid shape, and I don't think we always think about that. So don't be afraid to try these. They are a great statement look. So I think I'm going to put this on and let you guys see how this looks on. And I'm crazy about this piece. So let's flip around and see what it looks like. Kim says, would you have some seed beads on the other side of the loop too? Yes, Kim, I should have said that. I would probably put a little bit of seed bead work at the other side and then start with whatever beading pattern you want to use. Yeah, or you could start with maybe like a small rondelle, and you can have, have your seed beads across the top. Look at this. I love this. So this is a work of art, this pendant in and of itself. So even if you just did, a single strand of beads and nothing else, it is a stunning, stunning little piece of art around your neck. I hope that you guys will give Damyanah Studio a try. Pick up a pendant, pick up a couple of pendants, pick up some of these lovely complementary beads. And of course, Art Beads has a cajillion other beads. So if you get a pendant and you want to go with reds or yellows or green, or a different shade of green, match them all to your pendant and create something really wonderful, one of a kind that you can give as a gift or you can keep for yourself. I love Damiana. Beautiful, beautiful pieces. I hope you guys will fall in love with her as well. And I thank everybody for being here. Don't forget to close out your carts. There are limited supplies of these pendants, so don't miss out on them. And don't forget that the I-cord knitter is on sale, as well as all kinds of fun things that you can use with it. And please come and join the Serious Art Beaters Facebook group. So come, if you're not part of it already, come and ask to join. We'll get you approved right away, and you can start to see some of the beautiful inspiration that is there from some of the Art Beads designers, as well as from all of you, all of the serious art beaters. So I'm so grateful that you all join me. Don't miss out on the rest of the shows this week. Set your reminders for Andrea Bieber tomorrow, for Julie Bean on Wednesday, Becky Doll on Thursday, and Sarah Lovecraft on Friday. And I'll be back again next Monday. I've got another fun show planned. So have a wonderful creative week. I hope you will all make something and enjoy yourselves this week. I'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody.